Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff. Welcome to round 2 of Joinery Cabinet. Got the case construction done. It's up on the wall, out of my way. Now I can get to work making some doors and drawers. Drawers down here, doors up here. So we're going to pull down some more Douglas fir for the doors. Not sure what I'm going to do the drawers out of, but I know that I don't like dovetailing Douglas fir. So it might not be that. But those were also my first dovetails, so I don't know if I just suck. So anyway, let's pull down some wood. We'll get to work on the doors first, I think, because I've only got a few hours today, and I think those are going to be easier than drawers. But I've never done either one of these things before. So frame and panel doors, some more dovetails on the drawers, round 2 joinery cabinet. Let's go to the stockpile. Okay, so we start by taking some general measurements. These are just approximate dimensions so that I know what I'm looking to, the minimum values that I'm looking to get out of my rough stock when I'm breaking it down into project part blanks, I guess we'll call them. And then we start looking around at our rough wood and chopping out all the knots and hoping that the distance between those knots will satisfy those numbers that I wrote down a minute ago, which they happened to do, which was handy. Then we can move on to the general milling process as we go through with every project when we're using rough wood, which is just busting out the approximate part sizes and getting rid of all the waste, and then going over the jointer, planer, jointer again, etc., etc. If you're not familiar with how this process works, I'm not going to explain it to you here. Maybe I will do a video eventually on like my milling process from rough stock to final project part. That might be interesting for people. But in any case, jointer, planer, jointer. And then we can move on to actually dimensioning the pieces, which starts by getting them ripped to width. I don't remember what these were, somewhere around 2 1/4 inches wide for the rails and stiles, I think. Basically what I could get out of the pieces once they were milled. And then I square all the ends of all the parts to give myself one side that is perfectly 90 degrees to the faces. Then I can orient them how I want them and decide which one is left door, left side of left door, etc., etc. And then now I've got all my blanks, I can measure the length off the cabinet itself, which is important, because if you measure the cabinet and then measure the piece and cut it, you will be short most of the time. Don't ask how I know that. And once that fits in nice and snug, which there it does, I think. Come on. Alright, we got thumbs up. Okay, good. Then I can take the thin kerf ripping blade off my saw and put my full kerf one on that has, it gives a little bit of a flatter bottom. It's not a flat tooth grind blade, but it is a flatter bottom than my thin one, and it just removes more material. So when I'm doing operations like this, it's a benefit. Then you can sand all those grooves so there's no little splintery bits. I'm working with Douglas fir, so there's lots of splintery bits at all times. Then we can get the dimensions on the stiles. Wait, those are the stiles. The rails are the horizontal ones. Yes, I think. Yes. And we can set up a stop block and get all those cut to length before we start cutting mortises that will go in those little grooves. Wait, no, we're cutting tenons Yes. Terms. Yeah, cut the tenons on the end of the rails that will go into the grooves on the stiles. Yes, that was correct. And do that on the crosscut sled. I cut all the shoulders first, and then I can get hogging the material away to get the rest of the tenon formed once the shoulders are all set. And then I can give those a quick little sand too, and hopefully they slide right into the groove. Let's hope. I think it does. Yeah. Okay, and hopefully these doors are just a little bit oversized at this point. They hopefully just, they don't, what are they? They overlap in the middle just by a little bit, because we're going to get that taken care of later. But if they're too small, that's no good. Then we can cut the panels for the doors out of the same oak 1/4-inch plywood I used on the carcass on the back. And then we can measure the length of the thing based on the groove and cross-cut that to length as well. And we've got ourselves a couple of door panels that can go in the rails and stiles and make ourselves a couple of doors. Yay, doors! And we dry fit it all together, and once it fits nice, we can knock the dry fit apart and get some glue on the tenons and get it all glued up and into clamps, and then essentially there you've got yourself a door right there. Now it's just a matter of making it fit the place you want to put it. And we sand up all the joints all nice and flush, get rid of any glue squeeze out, and then we can work on hinging the doors. So I hope I don't have to keep using cheap hinges. I'm going to order some nice hinges once I can convince myself that they're worth it from like Horton Brasses or Russo or somebody. But it's a shop project, right? So hardware store hinges. Mortise them out with a router and a chisel, and drill the holes for the screws, transfer those mortise locations to the carcass, and do exactly the same thing on the carcass. Get rid of most of the waste with the router and then chisel out the exact dimensions. And the screws for the hinges were a little bit long because my carcass only ended up being about 5/8 of an inch thick, so I had to chop the end off the screws that went into the carcass side of the application. The you know what I mean. And it's overhanging just a little bit, right? So then we take that and finesse that up with the hand plane, and we can also at this point set the reveal on all 4 sides of the doors, so that there's an even sort of shadow line around the whole thing when it's mounted up, and give it all break the edges with, like, I don't know, 150 grit sandpaper, and get them mounted. There we go, we got doors and they're swinging. Look at that. Yeah, that's a happy dude right there. But we're not done yet. We got to turn some door pulls. So we got to get the lathe out. And turns out, I'm not sure if anybody out there is aware of this, turning your own door pulls is a relatively straightforward project. It's a relatively straightforward process to turn a door pull or a drawer pull, but turning numerous ones that are supposed to be the same, not so much. So yeah, look, there's a nice drawer pull or door pull, and then we can turn the next one and kind of eyeball it and get it to match, and use our calipers and get the measurements the same and stuff. Right, it should not be that difficult because it's pretty straightforward to turn these are essentially, I guess, shaker style door pulls. There's a little cove on the top and a cove underneath. No, a crown on the top and a cove underneath, whatever. They look like this. And there we go, we got 2 door pulls, right? Well, no, because they weren't actually that close to being the same. So I had to make 6 in order to get 2 that were about the same. But then I chucked them up in my drill press to do the final sanding on them. And that actually worked out really, really well. I'm glad I thought of that. And then we can get some rattle can lacquer stuff on them, get them drying while we're gonna move over and start, I think, finishing on the cabinet while those are curing. Nope, we're not. We're gonna go to the we're gonna do a little drilled latch, a magnet catch kind of system. So I take a couple of pieces of scrap from previous processes and cut them out and drill a couple 1/4-inch holes in them that will serve to house magnets. Hand sand them up real quick so there's no little splintery bits anywhere. Mix up some epoxy, some just like 5-minute quick set epoxy stuff, and install those so that one magnet is behind each door, so they're in the center of the both top and bottom of the cabinet, and placed so that they will make the doors so that they can't go any further in than that, obviously. And then we use a little dowel center finder dealie to put a little dick in the door when it closes so that I can match the location, and mix up some more epoxy and get the magnets installed, and hopefully get them oriented so that the positive meets the negative. And I did that. I managed to do that with 4 sets of magnets, amazingly enough. And we can do a final sanding on the entire cabinet, because I'm just gonna jump right into finishing now. And look at this pop. When you started, I was using Watco teak oil, tongue oil. I always get those two mixed up. Using a Watco oil varnish product. And then I can put the essentially it's a round mortise for the door pull in the door. Mix up one more round of epoxy, give the knob a quick dip in it, and slide it into the door. And we've got doors that open and close, and they've got knobs, and they've got magnetic catches, and we're pretty happy. All right. Okay, well, that's where we're at. We got the doors on, got the knobs turned and installed. We got the little magnetic catches there. I kind of like how it like click. Yeah, like nice secure click. And I'm done with this thing for now. I don't want to do drawers right now. I'm as frustrating as this has been. I am happy with it, but I need to turn my attention in a different direction now. So I'm not going on to drawers just now. I'll get back to that eventually. And thanks for watching. Cabinet is installed on the wall, doors, and then that's it for now. I have to be done for my own sanity. Maybe I'll turn something next. Maybe I'll make another bowl. No, I won't. I'm gonna do the drawers next. I know I am, because if I don't do the drawers next, I'm never gonna do the drawers. Okay, that's it for this one though. This one's just doors. Thanks for watching. See you next time.